Right now at 6, severe flooding in Pittsburgh caught many off guard, including first responders.
And flooding concerns continue for some of us. We'll have an opportunity to dry out a bit today, though. We'll look at your forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, volunteers in Barry County come together after the storm to make sure a summer camp is able to be up and running for the campers who need it.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday. It's May the 1st, first day of May.
Yes, here we are.
Yeah, it's, we're inching closer to summer. I mean, it's still not until June, but,
but
when we get to May, summer really starts to settle in by about the second week. So
yeah, kids only have a few more weeks in school left.
Yeah, that's hard to believe as well. So that's some good news. The bad news, of course, is we're continuing through our severe weather season. It's already been active, and we haven't even hit like the peak times of our severe weather season either. Good news today, though, no severe weather is expected. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Yeah, a nice break. I mean, we've had 3 events in the last month, and each of them have left damage and destruction behind. And so it's nice to get a little break out there. Cloudy skies downtown Pittsburgh, and of course cloudy from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. But we are dry this morning. We do still have flood warnings out there. The latest of these runs until Monday evening. But otherwise, again, remember, turn around, don't drown. Don't try and drive through a road that's got water over it because, as we've discussed, I know we keep saying it, but we have to emphasize it because we're seeing it happen. We're seeing it happen. First responders are seeing it happen. Don't drive through it. Turn around. Don't drown. Don't mess with it. You don't know what you're driving into, so just find an alternate route. We had some showers, thunderstorms out to our west. They worked their way in. They are now dead. That little green splotch there in Greenwood County is all that's left of some of those scattered storms from this morning. Now, we still will have a little wave in place, a little energy in place. We could get an additional shower storm between now and 10 a.m., but again, not everybody today will see rain. We've got dense fog advisories in southeast Kansas until 9 a.m. because, well, we've got dense fog, significantly reduced visibilities, Iola, Chanute, Independence, and in between here. Excuse me. So remember, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them, and give yourself time to get where you're going this morning. Future track by noon, we are partly cloudy. We're going to be warmer. And again, once we get between about 2 and 4, 2 and 5, another isolated shower or thunderstorm will be possible. It won't be until overnight tonight that we see a little more widespread rain chances. Temperatures this morning, very similar to where they were yesterday at this time. We've got upper 50s and low 60s across the area. And we're looking at highs, though, warmer because we'll get a little more sunshine. Mid-70s, isolated to scattered storms here and there, and southwest winds gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. As I mentioned, we got more rain coming tonight into tomorrow. It will eventually come to an end. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, as more rain comes, authorities want 4-staters to be mindful of the potential for more dangerous conditions. KOAM's Melissa Alexis explains first responders already have their hands full.
Caught off guard. We knew that we were supposed to have pretty good rain.
Taylor Cherney, the fire chief at the Pittsburgh Fire Department, says yesterday's rain seemed to come on suddenly.
Didn't realize that it was going to be exactly what it was and come as fast as it did with as much rain as it was.
He says the rain started early Tuesday morning on his commute to work.
It was just torrential rain. With standing water on streets that we hadn't seen standing water for a long time.
The Pittsburgh Police Department responded to 22 calls, and the Crawford County Sheriff's Office assisted with another 11 calls.
The biggest call volume yesterday was stalled out cars that had got caught in flash floods or had driven into deep water. Possibly not realizing that it was as deep as it was.
Some other calls that Pittsburgh and Crawford County emergency response crews responded to include disabled or stranded vehicles in the floodwaters, accidents, a tree falling on a house, and animal welfare checks.
With all the water in the streets and just the heavy rain, the winds actually played a big part, and we did have a large elm tree that came down, spanned between a couple houses, pulled down some power lines.
And something the fire chief wants to remind the public of to promote safety.
Be aware, if you're leaving for work, leave a little bit early in case you have to detour. You don't want to drive through the deep water, you don't want to drive through flowing water. Turn around and find another route. And as always, be on the lookout for emergency vehicles.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Pittsburgh and Crawford County emergency response crews received more than 30 calls between 7:30 and 10 a.m. Tuesday. Well, Carl Junction hosted a severe weather town hall with a focus on preparing for the next weather event. At the CJ Community Center, featured presentations from city officials, police, fire, and a National Weather Service trained spotter. Carl Junction is very familiar with severe weather. On Easter Sunday, an EF1 tornado tore through Jasper County, uprooting trees and damaging homes. Organizers aim to educate the public on emergency response protocols before and after severe weather events.
Anytime a severe thunderstorm warning is issued, people need to be aware. People need to start preparations. People need to be, eyes on the sky. People need to be watching their local weather forecasts. The siren really, when that goes off, that means there's actually a tornado warning, which means there has been rotation or an actual tornado spotted. So the time to act is very short.
The meeting is streamed live on the CJ Community Center and Carl Junction Connection Facebook pages. Lawns throughout Joplin are littered with broken branches and downed trees from Tuesday's storms. Local tree service companies say they're receiving double the usual number of calls from 4 state residents, and they're urging the community to stay patient as crews work longer hours to clean up.
Since the storm's been setting in, we've been getting about 10-15 calls at minimum a day, keeping busy, going to go look at them.
So much rain that the root balls are getting saturated, and then we get the high winds, and that's why the trees are blowing over.
Experts tell us one of the biggest headaches they're having now is working with insurance companies. Communities around Berry County saw extensive damage from Tuesday's storms. Now, one area hit Camp Barnabas, a summer camp for those with disabilities. But as KOAM's Samantha Walker reports, dozens of volunteers are here to help.
Tuesday morning storms did not leave Camp Barnabas alone. The site, which offers a summer camp experience for those with disabilities and chronic illnesses, saw significant damage, with poles and limbs pulled down to entire trees smashing into cabins.
Damage structurally to 3 cabins. I think we last counted about 37 large trees down all over our property.
And with staff and an estimated 1,500 campers expected in a matter of weeks, the camp's team knew they needed help.
As soon as I walked the property and saw the magnitude of the damage, and I know what we have to get done in a short time frame, I knew we needed help, and we needed to ask for help. And so we immediately went into kind of crisis management mode and got the message out to help that we need help.
And help is exactly what scattered across the storm-damaged camp. Professionals and community members prepared with whatever tools they have.
They showed up not knowing really what they were getting into with the chainsaw in hand.
Spirit Tree Care brought a team of workers to spend a long day helping remove large trees. Storm damage recovery is something the company knows well after severe weather hit their home in northwest Arkansas last year.
So we knew that it requires a lot. It requires a lot of skill, a lot of safety, a lot of just understanding trees and wood when it's under stress and things like that. And so we knew we had a special skill set to be able to come and help get these trees off the cabins or get them out of sticky situations.
Camp staff say they've had roughly 100 volunteers in the first day of cleanup alone, and there's enough work for all of them.
There's a multitude of things happening right now. We have tree removal, and then we will navigate into cabin repair in a short time frame.
She says thanks to the help of these volunteers, the camp will be up and running in no time.
I have no questions about it. I know they'll be ready to go. So campers are going to have a great summer. I know it.
Reporting in Berry County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
If you're interested in volunteering or helping donate for the recovery efforts, we have how to do so on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump points fingers to his predecessor as the U.S. economy shrinks for the first time since the pandemic. Plus, a group of New York high school athletes are facing charges after a hazing incident goes wrong. And we'll have a cloudy start to our day First, we'll have more from the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning. An injunction against President Trump's March order slashing the Institute of Museum and Library Services appears likely. A Washington, D.C. federal judge said Wednesday he's inclined to grant a temporary restraining order. The decision is based on a lawsuit filed by the American Libraries Association and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employment. The Justice Department tried to argue the court could not take action about future potential harms. A long-awaited minerals deal between the U.S. and Ukraine has been signed. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent praising the news via X. The deal is expected to give the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare minerals in the hopes of continued U.S. support for the nation as they continue to battle Russia. Now, this comes after weeks of President Trump calling on Ukraine to compensate Washington for billions in military aid and economic assistance for the country's fight against Russia. And this morning, President Trump is urging patience even as the U.S. economy shrank for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic during the first 3 months of this year. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
President Donald Trump is pointing his finger at his predecessor for the economic about-face in the first 100 days of his second term.
He came in on January 20th. So this is Biden. And you could even say the next quarter is sort of Biden.
The U.S. gross domestic product, factoring in inflation, shrank at an annual rate of 0.3% in the first 3 months of the year, fueled in part by businesses sprinting to buy imports before President Trump's tariffs kick in. Sparked a roller coaster day for U.S. markets, finishing mostly in the green as other numbers showed inflation eased and consumer spending jumped. In her first major speech since losing the election, last night, former Vice President Kamala Harris called President Trump's tariffs reckless.
Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
On Capitol Hill, criticism from stalwart conservatives.
Tariffs don't punish foreign governments, they punish American families.
President Trump urging patience as he hosted CEOs of several companies that have pledged to invest billions into U.S. manufacturing. In a town hall last night, he teased potential trade deals with multiple countries, though adding he's not in a hurry.
We are sitting on the catbird seat. They want us. We don't need them.
This as the U.S. and Ukraine struck a deal on rare earth minerals in that country, crucial for electronics and defense technology, following weeks of, at times, tense negotiations. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Yesterday, the vote on a bipartisan resolution aimed at blocking President Trump's global tariffs failed in the U.S. Senate. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us those cloudy skies that we have out there. Some of those clouds associated with a now dead complex of showers and storms from central Kansas. Could get a stray storm or two as we head into the through the morning and again into the afternoon. We'll have another look at your forecast in just a few more minutes.
Officials say high school athletes in New York who face charges for an alleged hazing incident have been released for now. Amy Kyler reports they're accused of victimizing 5 younger students.
There's no hazing excuse or defense in the law.
11 high school lacrosse players face the charge of unlawful imprisonment for an alleged hazing incident in Syracuse, New York. The Onondaga County DA's office says they've all surrendered. It says family court will handle the juveniles and anyone older will be arraigned.
If you get prosecuted as a juvenile, youthful offender, the punishments are way, way lighter, and it's much less likely that that case will follow you through the rest of your life.
The DA alleges the West Hill High School students got 5 younger lacrosse players into a wooded area.
People came out of the woods all dressed in black. They were armed with what appeared to be at least one handgun and at least one knife.
He says 4 students escaped, but 1 did not.
The individual had a pillowcase placed over his head. He was tied up and placed in the trunk of a car.
The DA says he could have charged the suspects with kidnapping. He says he opted for a misdemeanor that's less serious because they turned themselves in. Officials say most players on the lacrosse team were not involved and didn't know about the alleged plans in advance.
The school certainly could be sued by the families of the victims if they can show that there was damage sustained. Clearly there was, and if they can show that somehow there was a failure to supervise these students.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The West Hill Central School District says it's conducting its own investigation of the incident. It says it's canceling the rest of the varsity boys lacrosse season. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look outside. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. We have cloudy skies out there, but we'll get a little more sunshine as we head into the afternoon. A look at your forecast in detail when we return. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:22 now on this Thursday morning. Start with the fog advisories. We have dense fog advisories in southeast Kansas through 9 a.m. because, well, of course, we've got dense fog. Significantly reduced visibilities. Iola, Chanute, Independence, all less than a mile. And that does include surrounding communities, though, that have reduced visibilities. You can see Bonita, Parsons, over toward Yates Center, Fredonia, Sedan, so Nowata. So if you are traveling this morning, then you need to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Give yourself time to get where you're going, and just keep space between you and the car ahead of you in those dense fog areas. Another quick tour on our flood warnings across the area. Our flood watches are gone now, but we still have flood warnings starting in Missouri for parts of Vernon, St. Clair, and into Cedar counties. We're going to start it with the Vernon County warnings. The first one we have up is going to be for the Marmaton River near Nevada. Minor flooding is what's expected here. This flood warning runs until Sunday morning. We also have minor flooding and with a flood warning for the Little Osage River near Horton. This runs until tomorrow afternoon. On top of that, the Osage River at Taborville, this warning is the latest one we have. It runs through Monday evening. Minor flooding is expected there. Then for the Sac River near Kaplinger Mills, this flood warning runs until Friday afternoon as well. Then as we head south, that's where we get a little more chaotic here. We still have aerial flood warnings for parts of Craig, Ottawa, and Delaware counties that run through 10:30 this morning. So that means any number of back roads, farm roads, low water crossings, things of that nature could be experiencing flooding. Our bigger concern here in terms of flooding is going to be for the Neosho River near Commerce. Minor flooding is occurring, but moderate flooding is expected, and that could impact low-lying areas around Miami as well as Riverview Park and State Highway 125 near the fairgrounds. We also have minor flooding for the Spring River near Quapaw. This warning runs until just after midnight tonight. On top of that, we had a complex of showers and storms out west. It entered our area and it died. In fact, the loop is going to eventually run out on here, but you can see where it was coming along the I-35 corridor, worked into our area. A few storms made it, and then it's all gone. But we could still see an isolated shower storm between now and about 9 a.m. or so. Then we'll get another break. We're partly cloudy, breezy this afternoon. Southwest winds gusting up to 20, and we'll also be warmer. Then, as we get between about 2 and 5, another isolated or a couple of scattered shower storms out there will be possible. Not expecting much. The majority of us will remain dry today, which is fantastic. Now, overnight tonight, that changes. Our rain chances begin to increase after 10. Could get an isolated strong storm in our very far southern fringes of our area. The only risk we have is for some wind and hail, and it just barely clips parts of Benton County out there. Outside of that, just more showers, thunderstorms as we go through Friday. They'll be scattered again, so it won't be rain everywhere all at once, but that will continue. And as we head into late Friday evening, the last of those showers and storms are out of here. Our Saturday starts a little cooler, but will be warm and dry as we head into the afternoon. Again, highs today, we're looking to go right around the mid-70s, low 70s tomorrow, upper 60s for Saturday. Looking pretty good as we go into Sunday, Monday, a bit cloudier Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're keeping an eye on those thunderstorm chances toward the end of next week as we could see another round of strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the number of teens using nicotine pouches is skyrocketing. A study by the University of Southern California found in just a year, teen use of the easily concealed packets of nicotine nearly doubled. Influencers on social media have helped boost the popularity of nicotine pouches by claiming they help with confidence, masculinity, and mental sharpness. Well, getting more exercise in your 40s, 50s, and 60s can help prevent Alzheimer's disease. A study by the Barcelona Institute for Global Health found as much as 13% of Alzheimer's cases can be attributed to physical inactivity. Health experts say middle-aged adults should be getting 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate physical activity a week. Well, who writes better essays, real students or AI? Well, the University of East Anglia compared student-written essays with ones written by ChatGPT and found the AI essays were surprisingly coherent and grammatically correct. Now, the only thing missing was a personal touch. Plus, the AI wouldn't take a clear stance on issues. But teachers say it's getting harder and harder to detect cheating. Researchers hope moving forward, such tools can be used as teaching aids instead of just shortcuts. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a bill to strengthen sentencing for accessory to murder in Oklahoma goes to the governor's desk.
And we've got cloudy skies out there. Eventually, we'll see some more sunshine. We'll see some warmer temperatures and a couple isolated showers possible. Look at your forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, Liberty Utilities prepares to hold public town hall meetings as a state investigation into billing practices moves forward.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday. It's May the 1st, so the Justin Timberlake meme can go to bed now.
It can go to bed. I didn't see a whole lot of it this year.
Honestly, at least here in our area, I know we've been kind of busy with other things. That's probably why we haven't seen it shared as much, but it's no longer going to be May. It is May.
Yep, and there you go.
Yeah, he doesn't have a song that says that. He should work on that, though.
Yes, he should. That'd be fun.
I think so. And we've also got some fog. We've got still some flooding concerns out there with us this morning, but we'll be drier and warmer into the afternoon. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. It is a bit dreary looking this morning. We've got cloudy skies across the area. Of course, cloudy skies from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. And we've also got these flood warnings across the area as well that we've got to keep an eye on. We'll go over these in detail, but the same thing. We've run the story with firefighters in Pittsburgh. They're telling you the same things we are. Turn around, don't drown. They ran into vehicles that stalled out because they tried to go through water. And as we've told you, you have no idea how deep that water is or what the condition of the road is underneath. That's what they ran into with this heavy rain this week is folks driving into an area where they saw the water, didn't think it was that deep, turned out to be a lot deeper than you thought. So turn around, don't drown, find an alternate route. Skywatch Storm Tracker for the time being in terms of precipitation is clear. We had some thunderstorms out west. They tried to roll into our area. They have died, but we could still get an isolated shower or storm between now and about 9 a.m. Then we'll have another break in shower activity. Dense fog advisories in Kansas until 9 because Iola, Chanute, Independence, all with visibilities beneath 1 mile. But of course, that's only the reporting stations here. Do you see that dense area here? Slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. Give yourself time to get where you're going and leave space between you and the vehicle ahead of you. Into the afternoon, southwest winds gusting to 20. Outside of that, partly cloudy skies. Once we get to about between 2 and 5, another isolated shower or storm will be possible. Most of us will still be dry today, but we'll see increasing rain chances as we go overnight tonight. Quick look at those temperatures, very similar to what we've seen the past few mornings. We're into the upper 50s and low 60s. I knew it was happening. I could feel it. I was trying to get through it, and I failed. I apologize for that. All right, mid-70s for our highs today. And again, a mix of clouds and sun, maybe an isolated storm or two this afternoon. Better rain chances overnight into Friday, and then the weekend gets here. And I'll tell you right now, it's looking pretty darn good. Details in the full forecast, and that's coming up here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Lauren Ashley's law passes the Oklahoma Senate and is now headed to Governor Kevin Stitt's desk. The proposed law adds accessory to murder in the first degree and accessory to murder in the second degree to the list of felony offenses for which Oklahoma already requires convicted criminals to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The law is named after two girls, Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman, who went missing in December of 1999. Ashley's parents were found murdered in their burned home. Their disappearance launched a decades-long investigation, leaving family, friends, and an entire community desperate for answers. The primary suspect, Ronnie Busick, eventually agreed to a plea deal in 2020, pleading guilty to accessory to murder, kidnapping, and arson. As part of the agreement, he was required to provide information that could lead to the discovery of Laura and Ashley's remains. However, Busick's cooperation was limited and no new leads emerged. In 2023, Busick was released early from prison due to good behavior. Now, with the governor's signature, Laura and Ashley's law would strengthen sentencing requirements, ensuring those who aid in such crimes face stricter consequences. Liberty Utilities moves closer to hosting town hall meetings for customers in Missouri. The announcement comes after the Missouri Public Service Commission voted 5-0 to launch an investigation into customer services and billing practices of Liberty Utilities. The investigation covers all Liberty Utility companies operating in Missouri. While the energy provider continues to iron out the details, upcoming plans will include a series of town hall meetings open to the public. As of now, these meetings will tentatively take place from June 9th through 13th. Liberty plans to announce the dates, times, and location once they have been finalized. Well, in Springfield, Tuesday's storms led to power outages not seen since the 2007 ice storm. Adam Woodbray shows us how one community is getting a hot meal and the setbacks a local restaurant is facing.
It's hot out here, isn't it?
The staff at York Elementary in Springfield stepped up to help its community. With power out for the second day for the neighborhoods around the school, cooking food is not an option. So with no school in session, the school staff wanted to do something to help.
Our staff got together on a message chat and decided that we wanted to come together with some of our community partners and find a way to help out our school community, because we do have a lot of families in our area that still do not have electricity.
It wasn't long before the staff members bought snacks, water, hot dogs, and had the grills fired up.
It's a good thing because I do have 4 kids, and when you don't have no way to cook or there's nowhere open, and you don't have a vehicle to go further away, it's really heartwarming to know that I guess they care.
People in the community say they're grateful.
Because we can't cook anything, so it was nice to have something warm. Just wanted to say thanks to everybody that was here to help us out. It was really nice.
And just a few miles away in downtown Springfield, Gailey's Breakfast Cafe was able to reopen, but not before having to deal with food that sat in the restaurant during the power outage.
We have to get rid of it. I can't sell it at that point. I can't, I can't give it to customers once it hits a certain temp.
Nicole Edwards owns Gailey's. She says the power went out around 9:45 Tuesday morning and wasn't restored until late Tuesday night.
When we started seeing our coolers and everything start losing temp, which was last night, that's when we knew we had to start doing something. We had to either take the food somewhere else, give it away, or pitch it.
Edwards says the staff gave out food to people they knew, trying to use the food while it was still good. But even still, there's a lot of food that's just going to waste.
Our biggest loss is going to be our eggs, which everybody knows right now, eggs are outrageous. I had to pitch 22 cases of eggs. Each one of my cases holds 15 dozen eggs.
And for a restaurant where breakfast is a big deal, turning eager customers away is a tough pill to swallow.
This is what we bank on. And us being closed for almost 2 full days. I'm paying for labor, I'm paying for food that never got used. We're going to take a pretty hard hit.
Gailey's was able to arrange to get more food brought in for the restaurant, but Edwards estimates she lost around $5,500 worth of food. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump looks to fight back against the decline in birth rates by offering a hefty bonus to families. Plus, Chris will have a look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch this morning, could a $5,000 bonus persuade families to have more kids? Well, it's something President Donald Trump has expressed interest in. Jen Sullivan looks at rising costs.
Childcare costs have risen dramatically in the last few years, and families are feeling the financial squeeze.
When you're juggling both work and family and navigating the economy and just the costs associated with families, it adds up.
Jocelyn Fry is the president of the National Partnership for Women and Families, a nonprofit that advocates for parents and children, including finding solutions to make costs more affordable.
We don't want your child care to be larger than your mortgage.
A recent study by loan facilitator LendingTree found the cost to raise a child was nearly $300,000 over 18 years. That doesn't even include college tuition. They factored in a variety of costs, including housing, food, clothes, insurance, and daycare, which saw the biggest jump in price, rising more than 50% in 2 years. As costs increase, birth rates are declining. President Donald Trump may want to change that and is considering offering new parents a $5,000 bonus to have more kids. But Fry worries that's not nearly enough.
We have to step back and say what really helps families.
She'd like to see more states offer paid family leave. So far, 13 states and the District of Columbia have passed laws that require employers to offer some type of paid leave for all new parents. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The U.S. economy contracted for the first time in 3 years since the COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. economy hit reverse in the first quarter of 2025. The gross domestic product shrank at an annual rate of 0.3%. Now, economists say the drop in government spending due to DOGE cuts and businesses rushing to stockpile goods before the president's tariffs policies take effect played a role. President Trump is blaming his predecessor. Now, one bright spot, a separate report showed that consumer spending jumped 0.7% in March over last year. And around 500 Trader Joe's sesame miso salads with salmon have been recalled. The Food and Drug Administration says some of the packaged salads mistakenly contain Parmesan crumbles instead of crispy onions, which could cause a reaction for people with severe milk allergies. The recalled salads were sold in 18 states with use-by dates of April 28th and 29th. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're going to start with a quick look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. Still cloudy. We had a low cloud base out there, and we have fog across parts of the area as well. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline also quite cloudy, but the fog concerns are out to the west. We also still have flood warnings in place. Now, our flood watches are gone, but we do have flood warnings in place. The aerial flood warnings for Craig, Ottawa, and parts of Delaware counties, those will expire at 10:30 this morning, but some of our flood warnings run all the way through Monday out there. So remember, turn around, don't drown. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear. We had some shower storms out west. They tried to roll into our area. They died out, but there could still be just enough energy to trigger a stray shower or storm between now and about 9 a.m. And then we'll have another pause in shower activity. All right, dense fog advisories, as mentioned, southeast Kansas through 9 a.m. And that is why, look at the visibility in Iola, almost zero. Very low Chanute and Parsons. This dense fog right through this zone here. So remember, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you have them. Drive slow, make sure you have time to get where you're going, and of course leave plenty of distance between you and the person ahead of you. Again, an isolated shower storm between now and 9 a.m. will be partly cloudy by noon, and then between about 2 and 5, another isolated shower or storm will be possible. Most of us will spend today dry and much warmer than where we have been, and we've got a pretty decent start to our temperatures, much like what we saw yesterday, upper 50s and some low 60s. We have more rain chances on the way tonight into tomorrow. We'll take a look at that, plus your weekend forecast here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, it's Nate's turn to show us it's never too late to try something new. And what does he do? Swims with sharks. Okay, Nate. Plus, NCIS star Wilmer Valderrama will be here in studio, and we'll announce some of the top nominations for this year's Tony Awards. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays in the 4 states. We're starting in Chanute with Hudson Pryor, celebrating birthday number 5 with love from Granny and Granddad.
And in Rocky Comfort, a happy 18th birthday to Mackenzie Horton.
And in Erie, Logan Wilson celebrating birthday number 28 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy birthday to Tim Adam, turning 45 today in Pittsburgh.
And Steve Turner, celebrating birthday number 72, says, time sure does fly. Love always, Carolyn.
Back over in Rocky Comfort, a happy 86th birthday to Charles Horton.
And we have Frank and Judy Meister celebrating their 31st year of wedded bliss over in Pittsburgh. A very happy anniversary to the Meisters.
And in Columbus, a happy birthday to Cindy Neely.
All right, and a couple of KOAM birthdays. We've got Titus Stanley celebrating. He's an associate producer here at the station. He's one of the coolest laid-back people I know here. Very laid-back, very calm, very cool, very collected. And he does some great music that we've seen on Facebook, so you got to check that out. A very happy birthday to you, Titus.
Yes, happy birthday, Titus. And also here at KAM, one of our TMOs, Tristan Lang, also celebrating a birthday as well.
And see, Tristan's one of the many folks in the behind-the-scenes zone that keep us on the air. If we don't have people like Tristan, we're not on the air. We can't tell you anything, so we need these folks. Happy birthday, Tristan. And last but certainly not least, a very special birthday for Verna Mae Wilson in Golden City, celebrating number 98. Talk about a milestone. That is a really nice list of birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, if you want to celebrate, Elise has some very important information you need to know.
Yes, please submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Absolutely. All right, I've got some important information for you for your morning commute. One is the dense fog advisories that we have in place across parts of southeast Kansas. And these dense fog advisories run through 9 o'clock this morning, and here's why. We have dense fog out to the west. So I just learned, I was today years old when I learned that you could zoom this map in a little closer. So we've got very dense fog. Now, it doesn't change the cities on the list, but you can see the broad areas that this is encompassing. This is following the 169 corridor, sandwiched between 75 and 59. Down towards Chanute, less than a mile of visibility. Same in Parsons, just under a mile. So that's impacting parts of 400, 160, and 166. Independence, some dense fog out there, but not as dense as in Parsons. And it does stretch down into portions of northeastern Oklahoma. Like I said, until just now, I had no idea that map had that capability. But it is good to know because we need to zoom down to the street level on that fog. So again, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you have them. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Keep distance between you and the person ahead of you. All right, flood warnings. We got to still talk about those, starting in Vernon County with the Marmaton River near Nevada. Minor flooding expected. This flood warning continues until early Sunday morning. Immediately north of that, the Little Osage River near Horton. Minor flooding expected. This warning continues until tomorrow afternoon. And then the broader warning we have stretching back into St. Clair County. This is for the Osage River at Taborville. Minor flooding expected, but this warning lasts until Monday evening, so something to keep in mind. And then just northeast of Stockton, the Sac River near Kaplinger Mills, minor flooding expected. This warning runs until tomorrow afternoon as well. Then we head down south, and we've got a bit of a mess with these flood warnings. We have aerial flood warnings again for parts of Craig, Ottawa, Delaware County. That means that back roads, low water crossings, rural areas that are just prone to flooding in general could be experiencing flooding. These warnings continue until 10:30 this morning. We also have a flood warning for the Spring River near Quapaw for minor flooding. This one runs until just after midnight. The greater concern, though, is going to be the Neosho River near Commerce. This one runs through Saturday morning, but minor flooding is happening now. Moderate flooding is forecast, so this could potentially impact low-lying areas around Miami, Riverview Park, and State Highway 125 near the fairgrounds. So keep that in mind. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Skywatch Storm Tracker clear. We had a few shower storms try to work their way in. They have died out. A stray shower storm is still possible between now and 9. And then as we head into the afternoon, between about 2 and 5, could get another isolated shower storm out there. Most of us will be dry today. It'll be overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, and we'll start to see a few more scattered showers and storms pushing through the area as they eventually come to a close by tomorrow evening. Finally, we'll get a break from the rain. We'll have one more look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you stay with us here on KOAM+, we're going to tell you about a British man using his love of gin to help save the whales.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Lauren Ashley's law passes the Oklahoma Senate and is now headed to Governor Kevin Stitt's desk. The proposed law adds accessory to murder in the first degree and accessory to murder in the second degree to the list of felony offenses for which Oklahoma already requires convicted criminals to serve at least 85% of their sentence. With the governor's signature, Lauren Ashley's law would strengthen sentencing requirements. Liberty Utilities moves closer to hosting town hall meetings for customers in Missouri. The announcement comes after the Missouri Public Service Commission voted 5-0 to launch an investigation into customer services and billing practices of Liberty Utilities. Liberty plans to announce the dates, times, and location once they have been finalized. And Pittsburgh authorities are stressing a familiar warning: turn around, don't drown. The Pittsburgh Fire Police and the Crawford County Sheriff's Office responded to multiple calls from Tuesday's rain. Now, with more rain in the forecast, he urges people to be mindful of the potential for more flooding. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, get some dense fog in parts of southeast Kansas. After that, partly cloudy skies, isolated showers, storm between 2 and 5, mid-70s. Most of us dry. It'll be late this evening and into the overnight hours. We'll see a few more scattered showers and storms back into the upper 50s for our lows. A few more scattered storms tomorrow. Not everybody will see rain. And then as we head into the late afternoon, evening hours, it will start to end for us. Got a great weekend out there. Unfortunately, toward next week, we are watching more thunderstorm chances, and some of those could potentially be strong to severe.
Hey, the weekend looks great.
This weekend, great opportunity to dry out and get some stuff done.
Absolutely. And coming up today at noon, we're making enchilada casserole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, the Tonys are here, and you're going to have an opportunity to hear from a few of this year's top nominees. Plus, Nate showing us it's never too late to try something new, as he does something I will never do: go swimming with sharks.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning we'll hear from Dr. Derek Towery as he explains the dangers of skin cancer.
Plus, we're going to hear from Bright Futures Joplin about their biggest fundraiser of the year. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.